Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video on the Audi A1 that is seriously damaged. Guys, the comments in the last video, some of them was, I think it was their first time watching the video. I know that because quite a lot of you jumped on there and said, like, you're getting it a bit wrong, you don't realise what it is they're going to do. I think they was assuming we was going to pull this straight and actually panel this car up and use that chassis leg. Guys, we won't be using that chassis leg. It's far too damaged and it's all creased up. And you're right, if you pulled it straight, it wouldn't never be as strong as it was before. So you only pull it straight before you remove it. So these chassis legs have got to be pulled straight and obviously removed. So straight back on it today. The most important thing for us is to get the replacement parts. I have spoken to a breakers yard, not Kent Auto Salvage, just another one, and he's actually got a flood damaged one that he stripped last year, and the front of it was perfect, and we're actually going to be buying the front end off of it. So I'm going to head over there with the truck and hopefully pick it up so that we can start the process of getting the bits removed, just to aid us when we're repairing this, have all of the bits in place. You know, in the last video we got the complete front end, airbag kit and all the other little bits and pieces we're going to need, but we need to get the front end. And Chris also said, because that car was flood damaged and it ain't never been damaged, we can get all of our measurements from it as well. So let's crack on and get over there. It sound a bit like a wind tunnel, guys. I had absolutely no intention of recording this bit. It's going to be in the video somewhere, but I actually came over here to get something else and asked about an A1, and he said, Rob, just come and get that on your truck, take it, take whatever you want off of it and bring it back. He said you won't find a better car to use to get all your measurements off and any of your chassis than this one, because it was actually flood damaged. It's never been in a real hard shunt. So look at those chassis legs. That's going to be perfect. They're going to get it down for me and I'm going to whip over and pick that up. So guys, that little bit of video that you did just watch there, I actually recorded quite a while ago, and I've been over there and picked it up. They had quite a lot of stuff to move out of the way, and of course it was on a pallet and I had to use a forklift to get it down. So I strapped it on, made sure there was nothing loose, put everything really in the boot apart from these couple of bits. But like I say, this car has not been damaged. The chassis legs are perfect and we're going to be able to get everything we need from it. I don't want to keep this car hanging around for too long, so my plan is actually cut through the A-pillars, cut through the floor and actually just keep the front end here. The rest of the car can go back. So that is going to be me for the next few hours. I think quite a lot to remove: carpet, centre console. You don't want anything that's going to catch fire. So, and of course you don't want to try and cut through here and you end up with not enough. I'm going to cut back as far as I can so that we've definitely got enough of what we need. But yeah, fair bit of work there. It's still got the exhaust on it, plastic tray, so hopefully we've got a good few discs for the disc cutter and I should get that out. Right, no, definitely no time for any waffling today. Let's get on with it. So guys, it's actually probably a good week later now, and I stripped all this car out, took all the carpets out, centre console, and then kind of got sidetracked and had to go off and do something else, like, you know, just like we normally do. And I went out this morning to actually MOT the Peugeot, what is that? It's a Boxer, isn't it? The Peugeot Boxer van. So you would have already seen that video. And while I was out, Chris done a couple of little bits he needed to do, and he's actually cut the front of the car off. So he's just, should we leave this running, Chris?
Yeah, I'm just going to stick a shackle on and we'll try it.
Lift it off, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave this running. It should look quite good, guys. I am as close as I think we can get. Do you want me round the other side?
Yeah, I think so. There's your strap.
So you can shout at me.
Come on, mate. Pull it forward. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That was pretty painless.
Yeah, people are going to be horrified thinking that you're welding that into the front of that white Audi.
Yeah, no, we don't do that sort of stuff.
That's what you call, if you was going to weld that in, guys, that is what you would call a cut and shut. We will not be doing that. We're only going to be using parts of it, but like you always say, you're better off having too much than not enough, because
we can have that in the workshop.
Yeah, and you can always take a bit more off, but you can never put any more on. Right, let's get that in the workshop. Quite a lot gone on there, guys. While I was after Chris unloaded this, I actually went off, picked up another vehicle, and he's cracked on. And you've got both of these, the measuring system. This is set up exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, guys, this point here is actually that bolt. So
these are floating at the moment.
They're floating, right?
Yeah,
okay.
It's under there. That's on and at the back, Rob.
Right.
Look, that one.
Oh yeah, that one's in there.
And if you go to the rear,
you've got the rear ones in there as well. Yeah, I can see that. So this ultimately needs to come round so that this can actually be on that bolt. And of course, this side we knew was the worst side anyway. There's not actually any damage on that leg, is there? Well, it doesn't look like.
So this is rolled under, which
yeah,
probably as we pull that leg out, that will come back into place.
But this one is definitely toast. What Chris also did, you didn't time lapse any of this, did you? He has been cracking on, actually stripping out everything out of the way, what he needs. And he took the measurements from this front end. All of the measurements for that car, exactly the same. And you took all the measurements of every point that you can on there, so that when that car's pulled before, I'm going to mention actually, quite a lot of people was worried, Chris, in the last video. I thought we was going to pull this round, panel it up and send it out the door. Guys, that's not something that we're ever going to do. This does need replacing. So, you're just going to get set up, mate, right?
Yeah, get the doors.
We're going to pull it in situ, or we're going to pull it out a little bit?
Well, I've pulled it out a bit.
Right, so it's okay where it is.
Yeah,
Bit more room actually to work on it round here.
Yeah.
And nice bit of room around that front end there. Like I said, I know there's a lot there, guys, but it's always best to have a bit more than not enough. So we'll let Chris get set up and then we should be able to start pulling it, mate, right?
Yeah.
Let's crack on. So guys, we are set up. Chris is just finishing his coffee and I can't decide where best to have this. That's probably too far out, Chris, isn't it? Let's have a look. Have you finished your coffee? Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
That's too close, isn't it?
I don't know, I mean...
We'll try it.
Try it like
Yeah, we'll try it like that. I'm going to stand over here anyway.
Yeah, all right.
And then... no, finish your coffee, Chris. We'll pause that. You sure?
Yeah, might as well, haven't we?
Yeah, go on then, mate.
Might they reset it, mightn't
It might do, yeah. Quite, it's moving a lot already.
they? It's short there, isn't
Got an air leak on the old foot pedal.
it? Yeah. It is, yeah, we might have to shorten that chain in a minute, Rob.
Yeah.
I think we actually need the chain to go down a notch as well.
Yeah. Go on, mate. Let her off. That's come back a long way without going back, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you just push that? Rob? No, not that. Yeah. That.
I'll push the round. Sorry, mate. Is it all the way?
That's it, yeah.
Down one or up one, did you say?
Down, please. I think we need to shorten the chain though.
Yeah. Guys, this is just tied up here out the way.
Just...
Shall I wrap that round?
Yeah, it just stops it ricocheting and if it snaps, that's fine. It's not got that much pressure on it, Rob.
No?
No.
Yeah, stop there a sec, Chris. You hear it creaking?
Yeah, but you know there's not loads on that because the pump slows right down
And
to
starts
like a
going,
tick,
yeah.
tick,
Yeah.
tick when you've got max.
Do you know what? That shocked me. That really has shocked me. So, that is exactly where it should be. But when Chris lets that go in a minute, 'cause we'll have to shorten the chain, you're looking down here, guys, at the ram. And you can see it's quite extended. So we'll have to actually shorten the chain. But you'll see, when Chris lets that off, I'm zooming right in, mate. You ready to let it off, are you?
We could probably go a little bit more yet.
I'll zoom right in. See how much more it moved over, guys? So it still moved back. I'll tell you what though, I didn't expect that to come out.
They're quite soft.
With one pull, that is soft. What we do now, beat that flat under there to prevent that from...
Yeah, we're changing it, so there's a little point really, is there?
Right.
We're changing the chassis leg, so we're going to try and save all this flitch.
Yeah.
So
where that was all kinked in now you've pulled it out.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but I mean, little bit of work on that in a minute, and that'll be fine.
This is funny for us guys, because we're sitting here right next to each other, shouting at each other, but we're only doing that so that you guys can hear as well. So Chris has gone down another couple of notches on the actual chain itself, not the ram, the actual chain. Pulled it a little bit. Have you just put a shorter one on, or have you just pulled that one?
No, we needed, originally we had to have 2 chains, one wasn't long enough.
Right.
But now it's pulled it, it's you can reach with one chain.
You can hear the pump slowing down a little bit now.
Well, I'm going to leave that there.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to have a little tap about. So
I think you're going to
turn that. I'm not too worried about the chassis leg because we're changing that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the inner wing really I want to have a tap about.
Try and get it in shape.
But it's quite noisy, so
right.
I think if you turn that off for a minute.
Yeah, we'll go to time lapse actually while you're doing that.
Yeah, you can
maybe.
time lapse it. Yeah.
Chris was doing a bit of time lapse there, guys, while I popped out and uploaded. I know someone's going to ask now, why don't I do it here? When it's connected to the Wi-Fi, it takes too long, so I drive to my house where I get 4G. Uploads very quick. So Chris has got that leg pretty much where it needs to be. Obviously, we know it's got to be cut off, but we are saving all of this. And if you can see that loop there, that's because all of this, you can see, is up too high. So he's bolting down a plate onto the jig. And then we've got this clamp, you'd called it? Yes, clamp, isn't it? Pulling bar. And then you're putting a wheel on the bottom.
Yeah.
So put a pulley wheel on the bottom. The chain will come through here. And then it'll obviously pull that down. So I'm going to let him finish setting that up. We'll try and record a bit of that as well. We're actually quite safe to be quite close here, guys, because that chain can only go that way. So.
Show it there, just coming out. I'm going to give that a tap about now, mate.
All right, mate. So you kind of get the idea of what just happened there, guys. With the wheel at the bottom there, I called it a wheel, didn't I?
Yeah, pulley block.
The pulley block. So we've pulled down, but you have to obviously pull out with that. But that pulled that lovely there, didn't it?
Now it's got tension on it. When I tap it about, it'll hopefully go back in the shape.
People always ask Chris, basically what you're tapping is the imperfections that it's got to try and take the stress out of it, coming back up and landing in the position it was just at, isn't it?
Yeah, and also take, get the shape back in it really. It's like you can see there, that ridge line's meant to be in there. I don't know if you want to show that on that blue one, Rob.
That little loop I just said about a minute ago is supposed to be there as well.
So you can't see it so well in the blue, but
no.
you can kind of. And if you
look
you can
up
inside here,
yeah, you can see it runs that way.
In there like that, so it's just replicating that really.
Right.
But yeah, I'll have it. I'll have a tap about and cut back in.
Yeah, I'm not going to record why Chris is tapping, guys, because it is very, very noisy. Don't think there was ever any doubt, guys. Chris pulled it out of the park. You've completely saved the inner wing there. He dressed it up a lot with a hammer, the hammers, and all of this is back 99.
Might need a tiny little bit of tweak, yeah. But this bit here is not quite right yet.
Right.
And that's because that chassis has rolled slightly.
Let me just zoom out a bit.
If you stand back, you'll probably see it, but it's not perpendicular. It's rolled slightly.
Yeah, we can see that.
That's gone over slightly, so it's not allowing this to sit flat.
Right, but we've got to remember...
It's all coming off.
It's all coming off.
Yeah.
And once you do, any dressing up here is going to be made a lot easier anyway.
I will take this, once this chassis is undrilled and cut out,
Yeah.
there'll be no tension in this. There's a bit of tension in it because of that. And then we'll get that back where we want it and obviously replace the chassis.
So that's all good. This video is going quite a long way already, but I'd love to get that chassis leg round so that we can all see it straight in this video. If that's all right. So,
yeah. I mean, that's, again, there's a bit of dolly and hammer work here where that's rolled under there.
Yeah, there. It's actually quite deep. We are hoping that quite an element of this does come out when we pull this leg back round, because
I would think it will.
we've got
Yeah.
we got a long way to go there. So we get us what we do, even if we can't get to see that dressed up in this video, Chris, to get that leg round. I think people are going to want to see this both sides of it straight, if that's all right. I mean, I just know it's getting on a little bit, and it's getting quite late in the day, isn't it? So right, let's do it, guys. I'm going to live film Chris pulling that, and we're actually going to time lapse it on his phone because it looked really good before, didn't it? Look at that bottom rolling out already. Let me zoom in a little bit more. You see it there, guys? It's actually coming round really nicely, that one, isn't it? Hear it creaking? That's it. That's where it needs to be.
A little bit more. And I'm going to do a little bit of dolly work again.
Yeah, mate. Don't forget, you've got to go a long way round.
Yeah.
I'll stop there if you're going
I'm going to bring the trolley round. So
right.
I'm not searching.
I will stop there, mate. Guys, check it out, one pull. We did time lapse it on Chris's phone, and you will see I slowed it down a little bit there, and we both watched that back and thought, it looks brilliant on time lapse when you slow it down. But that was one pull, and it is bang on the mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly where it needs to be. Do that again. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
So yeah, and we'd get the same that side when we put the new piece in.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I've not watched it back, Rob. You've watched it back. I don't know if how well you could see
you
that
can.
piece.
Guys, don't forget, we always say it, we always keep trying to say it, don't we, about the time lapse. The three little dots in your top right hand corner, you can hit those dots and slow the time lapse down quite a lot. It was really interesting. I actually zoomed in on a bit of this. You could see it all popping back into place, which was unreal. All of these little marks, that's where Chris has been dollying it up with the hammers.
And there's a little bit more still to do there.
Yeah, so these two creases are supposed to be there, but this one here is actually meant to be more predominant this way.
That's right.
But I can't believe.
Yeah, it's fine, isn't it?
That's immaculate, that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, she's
The
straight.
thing is, there is a lot of forgiveness in these, isn't there?
Yeah,
They're not the boron steel ones.
definitely not, because
They're just mild steel.
we also just said, didn't we? That was like butter.
Yeah.
That was very easy to pull, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That one was a tiny bit creaky, but that's because of the amount of damage it had on it. But that all pulled back together lovely, and it's so nice to see those chassis legs back exactly where they should be. So guys, that is all we're going to have time for. It's actually gone 5 o'clock now, and I've got my dinner sitting on the side. I already was out till late last night and never got my tea, picking up the Subaru video, which you'd have already seen that video. Really nice to have that car back straight where it should be. you know from the previous video, we've got all the parts for it in colour. We're not 100% whether they're going to be in colour, but they are white, which is going to save a lot of hassle, even if it is the wrong colour, because you won't have to spray all the shuts and under the bonnet, etc. So we are really cracking on with that. Still a lot of work to do, obviously drilling out that chassis leg, and if we'd have carried on, we'd have been here till 10 o'clock tonight, just drilling that out, because drilling it out's quite time consuming, Chris, isn't it? But the whippy wheeling, all of that sealer off.
You've got to drill it twice because we're removing that one as well.
And all the seam sealer with that whippy wheel takes a long time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you've got to be so careful, especially with the new one, that it doesn't drill through certain places, so that when it all welds back together, guys, you've all seen us do it before. So that is going to be the end of today's video on the Audi A1. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Follow us on Instagram for the little sneak peeks throughout the day at Salvage Rebuilds. Like, subscribe and share. And we will see you all very, very soon in the next one.